All right. Welcome into FullbackU. Let's just start it up. It's a new year. PJ, just throw it at him, man. Let's get at it. What you got?
Okay, so let me ask this question right now. I've talked to former players and we've had somewhat of a disagreement. Names doesn't matter. The topic does. Are you guys a conference guy or an OU guy? Or both?
I'm an OU guy.
I'm an OU guy. I'm not a conference guy.
I'm not a conference guy. I'm an OU guy.
In bowl games, I want to see him do well, but OU all day.
Right.
In bowl games, I want to see him do well, but the bowl games we ain't played the greatest teams. It ain't like it ain't like we played.
You want the conference to do well. You want the conference to do well.
Yeah. And the other thing, Jarrail, we know a lot of coaches in the Big 12 too.
Yeah.
So
you want to do
well. Ray up at K-State.
You do?
Greg Richmond up at and some of the kids too. And some of the kids too,
you want them to do well.
What else you got?
I don't care if they do well or not. Another one. What is your take on the OU Florida game? What'd you think?
What you got, Jarrail?
I'm gonna tell you this. First of all, I'm gonna apologize to the OU staff. You guys did a great job of rallying the team and winning games. That was a hell of a coaching job that those guys did from top to down. Because we was all, I ain't gonna lie, I counted them out. That was a hell of a job they did of rallying the team and they did a great thing. My take on the OU Florida game, OU did what they were supposed to do to a team that was that lost their guys. And you can say what you want to say. They played well. They won the game. But if those four guys play, it's a totally different football game, man. It's a totally different football game. And I respect the fact that they came out and they dominated a team who didn't have as much talent on the field as they did. And they did what they're supposed to do. But I'm not going to go out here. I'm going to give the offense a lot of credit because they played against a defense who they had all their guys on defense, and that's how Florida defense been playing. So I'll get the offense credit. The defense, I'm gonna give them 50%. I'm gonna give them 50% because like I know, if you go back and watch that Alabama game, them dudes was headaches now. Like them dudes was headaches for Alabama. That tight end is a mismatch problem for anybody. So OU did what they supposed to do, but I ain't gonna be high and mighty. I ain't gonna come out there on Twitter and beat myself on the chest talking about, we could have did this and that because hey. You talk about that man BV who was here and won some championships. Now he has some stellar defenses who just got put in a bad situation because he wasn't able to score. So OU offense, A+. OU defense, it should have been a shutout with what they was playing with. So they won the game. So they won the game, so you gotta give them credit. But I ain't gonna say they top notch because let's talk about last year when you played a LSU team fully loaded and you was fully loaded. That was 100. They could have scored 100 in the first half. So I like that. It's a great win. They did what they supposed to do, and that was a great springboard for them to 2021.
Now people are gonna say, Jarrail, that everybody's missing people at this time. Everybody's injured, right. But if you show up for a bowl game, you trying to win. That's my thing. Like you said, I'm proud of the squad for showing up and how they represented and all that. Defense definitely got better. I'm going to take the other team that you didn't talk about. Ohio State blocks people to the ground. They throw people around. Them boys is moving people. Until we get to that, and their recruiting class, just like Alabama's, and I'm sure we're going to get to that, is out of this world for the next 2 years. Unfortunately, for what it's going to take for us to get to the next step is looking at those teams. And then here's the thing, and y'all talk about this all the time. Those, man, don't get me hyped. The two teams that made it, Alabama and Ohio State, that's Alabama and Ohio kids. It's a bunch of Alabama and it's a bunch of Ohio kids. I do the roster breakdowns. Now, granted, Ohio State's doing incredible in Texas, right? And Alabama's doing incredible in Florida, but wherever they want to do. My thing, guys, is we know that there's a three-headed monster out there between Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. No matter what we do in this conference, PJ, you asked me if I was a conference guy. The thing that turns me away from this conference is how bad we're looking. Yes, we're winning some games, but we're not looking that great on the recruiting scale. We're not looking that great on the national scale. We're not looking great We play good football here. Don't get me wrong. We play
Yeah,
good,
absolutely.
balanced football here. But when you talk about some of the our Oklahoma football isn't what Ohio and Alabama is right now. Point blank. Period. When you watch them teams, you see physicality, fam. You see people blocking and tackling crazy. I don't know. We got to get to that. That's my thing.
I've always said the O line and D line gives you your versatility. If you run blind, if your offensive line can run block and pass block, it opens up the playbook. If your defensive line can get to the quarterback and get off the field, the front seven, and they can get off the field on third down, that is when you have a team that can go really far as far as winning a championship. We've been to 4 of the new version of the national championship journey. We've been there 4 times. We haven't won a game. Why? Because we lose at the line of scrimmage. We lose at the line of scrimmage, and that's something that we're going to have to get better at, and that's where it's going to be with the recruiting.
That's one.
That has to change.
That's one, but it's also what Jarrail said too. That's exactly right. It's getting those explosive linemen, like the kid that we missed out on in Virginia, those huge kids that are the 5 stars. But it's also about getting those skill players, like we talk about at Alabama's got them receivers that they can just throw the ball to and make plays. And then it's those specialty guys. That's what I'm looking for in this national championship game. Is for Ohio State, the tight end with your boy Kevin Wilson had 3 touchdowns between his guys. Justin Fields distributing the ball everywhere. What you got, Jarrail?
So I said both of y'all that little 247 deal about recruiting. So both of y'all seen the recruiting and the coaches in recruiting. And if you go through and look at them, it's Alabama, it's Clemson, it's Ohio State. Those are guys that they getting the guys that we getting. We're down the list a little bit. We 28, 29, and we getting the 28, 29.
Better than it was.
Oh yeah, but we get better. But you see what happened. We went head to head on the running back from Texas, a state that we should. He went to Bama. You went head to head on an old lineman in Virginia, and he picked elsewhere. You got to keep you got to keep battling them fights, and whatever it is, whoever it is, got to battle a little bit harder. I mean, because you got the same tradition as everybody else, and our tradition is better than Clemson. It's up there with, it should be better than Alabama, but we should be able to battle Alabama and Ohio State easily. You know what I'm saying? With what we got and the tradition that we have, you just them dudes got to go get in fights, man. Got to be dogs.
Can we overtake that? Both of y'all. Can we overtake? What do we have to do? If you're the head coach, are you comfortable seeing all these guys going these places? Do you feel like you can overtake these? What's your plan to overtake them?
I mean, it comes back to what your coaching staff can handle in that room. What's your coaching staff personality? What's your coaching staff temperature? Some of those guys, some of the coaches won't just do good. They 5-star kids, but they got no issues, no problems. They ain't gonna cause you no issues. They ain't gonna talk back. Some of them guys at Alabama feel like they got a culture to where they can bring guys in with no matter what the background is, they gonna fall in line with the culture that we got in Alabama football, and we gonna rise. So we just gotta keep winning. We gotta keep battling those battles. So you gotta keep winning marquee games. Like winning that Florida game was big for you. That was big. That was a big win because you beat the SEC team and you beat them down. Now, Dan Mullen cried about he didn't have his people and all that, but that's Dan's fault. Dan should have got those guys ready to play. He knew those guys weren't playing. But again, at OU, you can't beat yourself on the chest because there was 4 dudes now that's gonna be top 3 round picks that was sitting at the house. And you talking about a tight end matchup? If Potts was playing, come on, man, he was working Alabama. So we gotta continue to win games and just gotta continue to go fight, man. Go continue to stick your head in there and battle with the big boys. Just continue to do it. If you lose, you lose. Hey, if you come in second, you came in second. But then find a way to come in first. Find an inside tie. Find a tie whoever gonna help you in there. You might have to take a lesser player to get a bigger player in a couple of years. So we just got to keep fighting.
Can we win a natty? Can we win a natty with our recruiting classes being at 13? Like our recruiting classes at 13 right now. Can we develop the talent? Can we beat the guys that are stockpiling 5 stars? Can we beat those guys?
I would change it a little bit. I don't care where they rank us in the recruiting. Do we have what we need And what I mean by that is, do we have that D line and that linebacker core? Do we have the secondary that knows what they're doing? You know what I mean? Do we have a complete offense and a complete defense? Because if you can be ranked number 1, 2, or 3, but you may not play like it, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's about stacking as much as you can. Jay know this. I know this. You know this. The bench is the scariest thing on the field. If you can't get it, it's the scariest thing to me of an athlete. You don't want to be on the bench. So you want somebody that's going to set the tone as a starter, and you want a hungry guy right behind him pushing him. Because if you're pushing him, then you're getting better yourself. But we have to do a better job of evaluating talent and being able to not just be an offensive team or a defensive team. We have to be, I don't see with as much winning, and I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it until it changes. I don't see, we've been to 8 national championship opportunity situations for the old way, for the new way. Right? We got one of them. And I know championships are hard to get, so I'm not saying we should have 5, 6, 7. But with how it is right now, you're going to have to be very good at recruiting, because where we are right now, it used to be we could cherry pick in Texas. Texas is almost halfway an SEC state now.
3/4
as far as recruiting, right?
Yeah.
So now it's not going to be as easy as it was, and now A&M is good. They've somewhat replaced Texas in what their thought was in that state. So A&M is better than Texas right now. We'll see what my man can do.
Here's what you got with Sark coming in to Texas. Here's what you got. Here's what you got now. You got a guy who got California ties, who was at USC, who got SEC ties that was at Alabama. So he gonna have an option to go get those guys out of the SEC states and bring them to Texas. And I mean, it's gonna be hard when you got to do who won 2 national championships as an OC to kind of and put receivers in the league with his offense to kind of. I mean, you go have to come with your big boy pants down in Texas to battle. If I'm Oklahoma, if I'm Texas, anybody else, you have to come to battle. I think what they got to do now is they got a D-line right now that's pretty good that you can go probably battle anybody. You got an old linebacker core, but they best recruiting job right now they got to do is keep those guys there for one more year and take advantage of the COVID problem and then go hit the transfer portal. Transfer portal is like free agency right now. You got to go hit that. Get some guys to come in to back those guys up and then start building yourself back up. You got a chance right now.
Do you stand? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. What I've seen in the progression of the national championship the last few years is what kind of head coach do you have? Right? That's the first thing. The second thing is your D-line. If you have 4, you're going to be good. If you got 6 to 7 and they can rotate them and they're somewhat fresh, that's when you got a problem, because that's when you're going to have more rested guys coming after that quarterback. That quarterback's going to be in that game unless he's not playing well or he gets hurt. So he's going to be in that game every play. You got to put that pressure on him, and you can put more pressure on him if you have more guys than just the first 4. So when Bama was winning, they was winning the line of scrimmage. But then Clemson took their blueprint, turned it on them, and beat them the same way they beat them because they had the better front seven. They went and got the receivers. They got 3 of them out of Tuscaloosa. Clemson went and got 3 out of Tuscaloosa. Brought them there. They won the national championship. Now, what did Ohio State just do to Clemson?
Beat them up for up.
The blueprint is there. The question is, can you get the guys that can do that? And that's what we got to do.
And so that one. Okay, so now we're realizing, and PJ, you and I talked about the teams that have won the national championship. We're realizing that they're either Ohio State or they're in the Southeast, right? So one, can we take down Bama with transfer portal guys and what we have? And then 2, if we can't, what do we have to do to overtake those teams that are down there?
You're gonna have to go, like I said, you're gonna have to go in a territory and battle, because that's what the dudes are.
So you're saying we have to fill our roster with those guys.
Yeah, you got to go get 1 or 2. You got to go get 1 or 2, and then if you don't get 1 or 2, you got to make sure you take care of Texas. You can't let none of the top dogs out of Texas leave. Like you cannot lose anybody.
So how do you feel about the 6 guys, the Alabama having the 6 guys at a certain position, and then Texas or Ohio State's pulling the Southlake kid, the quarterback?
Hey,
is Texas lost to us? That's what I should say.
Yeah,
it's
lost.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think we kind of. I mean, back, Stoops and them had guys who was deep rich to Texas, so you weren't losing the kid out there because them dudes had relationships so deep that they was getting first dibs on, like Jackie Shipman was getting first dibs on Adrian Peterson's and the guys like that. But they was going to spend time with them dudes. Like they would go down there, spend 2 or 3 days, take a dude out to eat, get to know the high school. And we wasn't in California, we wasn't in Virginia, we wasn't in all those places. We was in Texas. They was in Texas 24/7. And I think for us, they got to get that relationship back to where they got those relationships to where, hey, JD, I got one here. I got a dog. He gonna be one of them dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna come through, talk to mama. Hey, this how you gonna get him.
Yep.
You gotta talk to mama.
All you gotta do is this. All you gotta do is that.
All you gotta do is this. That's the relationship you gotta get back into. That's the relationship you missing. And that's the relationship those dudes at Alabama. They've been there for a minute. They can pick up the phone. And the thing Nick Saban does is he got all ex coaches, all ex head coaches on his support staff. So they picking up, they calling down Charlie Strong, all those guys. He was in Texas. So they using their connections. We got to get back to the point to where, hey, we not the third or fourth guy in the house. We the first guy in. We there when he in 11th grade. That's the relationships you got to build with those guys. And it comes from just spending a lot of time in that place, and knowing your recruiting grounds. It's when A&M went to the SEC, it opened up. It opened up everything. Now you got it. Now it's a floodgate. Now.
So where is our recruiting grounds, Jarrail? If you just said if we don't have Texas, if we're from what I'm seeing, and you mentioned the kid that's the Garland kid that picked Bama over us. So there's the Texas lineman Brockerville's kids that picked over Texas and us. There's the linebacker that's at Duncanville.
He a grown man now. We watched him yesterday. He a grown man.
I saw. Videos don't do him justice. I met him in person, and I met him in person
and talked to him. PJ, have you seen him?
No, I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, he's 6'2", 250, dog. Hey, he can roll.
As a freshman, I thought he was in college. I thought he was in college.
I love it.
Well,
he rolled.
Where if our roster is still Texas, what Texas guys are they? Jarrail, is that the guys that you're talking about that we don't want to get into the fight with? Is that?
I mean, that's like for them. I'm gonna live at a Duncanville. I'm gonna live at a DeSoto. That's the places you gotta live at because I mean it's Duncanville University. On Duncanville's team right now, they got the kid that's going to Alabama. They got the kid that's going to LSU. They got another kid that's going to UNLV. And he only the grades. They got a receiver that's going to SMU. I mean, they got 5 dudes right now with Division I prospect. Offers on that team. Duncanville, they got the kid that going to Boise. They got the kid that going to Arizona State. Like you got to go to those places, man, and you got to get it. Like you got to be able to go in there and some of you got to be able to go in there and relate to them dudes. Like you can't nowadays, kids, you can't shoot them kids BS now because them dudes will call you on it. You got to come there and be real. Hey, how you gonna get me to the league? How you gonna put me on the field? Who in the league? As a linebacker, I look at if I'm a linebacker at Alabama. I mean, you just sent Kenneth Murray to the league from OU, so that should have been a key selling point. We just sent Kenneth Murray to the league. Going there and about that, you got to use the guys that you put in the NFL. Receiver wise, it's been easy because we throw the football and stuff. And we getting receivers, but we ain't getting them cats that look like them cats down like in Alabama coming in and getting the ready made was out of Texas. That's ready to go, ready to roll, and put them in the system. We just got to come in with a plan, and they got to utilize their plan. They. The Jordan brand, it's the Jordan stuff is not really working for the top dudes. Like it's not really like them dudes ain't really falling for that. Like so now you got to come in with something else. Like you got to be real with them. I just think they got to come with a plan, man. And if they don't do Texas, they got to come in and they got to come with their hard hats on and go get it. And then okay, if Alabama come to Texas, well, why can't I go to Alabama and slide into Alabama? If they spend all their time in Texas, why can't I slide into Alabama? Why can't I slide into Georgia? Why can't I slide to Mississippi and slide because you can slide 1 or 2 kids out of that thing. You just gotta build ties and build relationships.
The scary thing to me, and we can talk about I think PJ was gonna ask us about the other games, but the scary thing to me is, and I think you see it with Notre Dame, is they're trying to judge the gap of growing by like, oh well, we lost to Bama by like 50 last time, and now we only lost to them by 17. So we're doing good. We're doing better. And I get it. Like, unfortunately, that's the damn standard right now. Like that's how you're having to judge yourself. So what about the other games, man? What y'all think about just what do y'all think about Ohio State and Bama coming up?
I think it's gonna be physical.
Very.
It'll be a physical game.
It's gonna be physical. And shout out Sermon.
Trey Sermon.
He was balling. I thought he was gonna be that third one. Adrian was number one, Mixon. I thought he was gonna be that third guy of this era of the running back. And obviously DeMarco. I thought he was gonna be that maybe that fourth guy here. Because his freshman year, he was looking like he was gonna be the one. So even though he's at Ohio State right now, I'm glad that he's doing well. He balled out.
While we're on that, because the fans, and I'll just admit my bias, Jarrail, but you can talk about, because you're the coach and I'm just the young buck. We'll talk about all that. But Bullware, everybody was getting on Bullware on Twitter. Baker makes a comment to him. People, obviously Serm had the situation where he didn't play that much here. Do you blame that all on a running? Again, my bias is Bullware recruited Marcus Major. Marcus is doing great now. He had a great game. Proud of him. Bullware, there's shit that when you give a kid that I know an opportunity to change his life, we can get over some playing time shit for the most part. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We can sit down and discuss that as men. So I got a different type of respect for him. But my question to you, Jarrail, is a running back's playing time all on him? Does some of that fall on the OC or Lincoln? Let me know.
I don't know what went on in that meeting room. Some of it could be communication issues between him and Bullware or something like that. Lincoln's offense is different than all of us that's in the air raid. They run the ball a little bit more. So it's kind of running back friendly. So that just got to come down to him and Bullware. Maybe him and Bullware didn't see eye to eye or whatever it was in the meeting room. And you know how it is. I think he started off with Kale first, I believe, and then went to Bullware. So it's kind of one of those deals where, Kale, you could take Kale a different way too if you feel like, I like Kale. Some people don't, but I think Kale's a good coach. I just think whatever it was, it went down between Bullware. And some of it could be, I can tell you this, some of it could be, I didn't recruit you. You ain't my guy. You know what I'm saying? You was recruited by Kale. So when I bring my guys in, I'll make sure my guys play. Some coaches had that. So, he could have fell in that deal. But it's good that he bounced back and he's playing. So, I don't think you can't get on him, now Coach Bullware now I probably wouldn't have got on Twitter and did said what he said. I probably would just sent the kid a simple text and been like, hey man, good job. Keep working. I wouldn't have put myself out there like that. I think he put himself out there by trying to gain gain some fame off of what Trey Sermon did. You do that behind closed doors, man. Send the kid a text, tell him how you did a good job. You don't need a pat on the back for it. If you recruiting them, you don't need a pat on the back for it. That everybody knows you recruit them. So for him to do that, that's I probably wouldn't have done it. But like I said, it goes back to you don't know what was going on in that meeting room between him and Bullware, and it could be some communication issues. It could have been all the point that Bullware wanted to go with his guys that he recruited. He felt like there was a better fit for the style and his coaching style and what they was running. So. That's only Trey and Bullware know what went on in that, and that's about it.
Can I ask another question? Because I think this is important when we talk about the Final Four. Do you think the Final Four should be who deserves it? Do you think the committee should look at the Final Four as who deserves to be in the Final Four, or what four do they think can win the Final Four?
Me personally, I think they need to go to 8.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't understand how people didn't say Notre Dame didn't deserve to be in the game. And not Alabama, Notre Dame. I'm not a Notre Dame guy. But for years, people were crying about Notre Dame not playing a full conference schedule in the ACC. They got to pick and choose, right? This time, they played a full conference schedule. Now, they beat Clemson. I understand Lawrence was not there. But they beat Clemson. Clemson came back with Lawrence. They beat them. So their best win is Clemson, and their worst loss is Clemson. How did they not deserve to be there? You may think they wouldn't have gone. You may think they wouldn't have won, but how did they not deserve to be there? who deserved to be there after Clemson and Bama? Who deserved to be there other than them?
I think you look at the way they lost at the end. Mm-hmm. People forgive you. If they got blown out early, in September, people forget about that. They got blown out in the ACC championship game, which is supposed to be two of the best teams. So I think people look at they shouldn't belong in there. You know, so
Ohio State can play 6 games and get in there.
Well, they changed.
How many games at Florida? Who did Florida lose to?
Florida lost to Bama and Oklahoma. I mean, so if you're looking at it,
but that's what I'm asking. Is it what you did or who you think can win? Because it looks like they go both ways. They wanted Ohio State because they think they could win, but they didn't earn it. But they think they can win. But then they got the other guys because it's like they picking and chooses. I don't see no criteria.
I think they need to go.
And this is not for Notre Dame. This is for going forward. How are y'all deciding who gets to go in there?
Going forward, you need to go to 8 because you need to go to 8 because you can say Cincinnati belong because they hung in there with the Georgia team. You know what I'm saying?
I'm out on that 8.
You got to go to 8. You got to go to 8.
You gonna pay them?
I mean, you can use it as a bowl game.
Are you gonna pay them? Because how many games is a regular season?
It just depends on your season, your schedule. Most of them 10, most of them 12. Plus, if you make it all the way to the championship game, 11,
it's gonna be a football season.
Yeah,
NFL season, regular season.
I mean, I would do it like this. I would do the first. So the 8 would be bowl games. So those would be bowl games. Then you got 2 semifinals and then a championship game.
When are they going to get paid for these extra games?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: if you pay a kid, then you go. So I would say everybody talk about paying. If you pay a kid, it's gonna be more kids on the street without education than anything else. Because right now they got it good because if you get hurt or if you don't perform, you still on.
You kind of changing the subject though.
You talking about
you kind of changing the subject. I'm saying if we're going to ask these kids to play more games than they're playing now, what do they get for that?
Chance to continue to play and win national championship.
I don't want to see Bama play Cincinnati. I don't want to see that.
and first of all, I don't like them adding more games on, and they didn't get nothing. But secondly, and maybe more importantly, people are opting out right now. You think we're gonna get to 8 with those guys?
But no. Here's the deal.
They opted out now. The 4 receivers that we didn't play, they opted out.
Check this out. They opted out because they're not in the playoffs.
There you go. That's true. Good point.
They opted out because they're not in the playoffs.
Was the Florida guys?
In Florida, if it was 18 and Florida was playing Oklahoma with a chance to go to the national championship, They played.
I see people opt out of bowl games.
No, not for a national championship bowl game. You ain't seen nobody opt out.
Florida didn't make it to the national championship.
I'm just saying, if you turn it and go to 8, if you check, we're gonna go an 8-team tournament. None of those guys would have opted out.
But who was the 8-team tournament for?
It would be for Cincinnati and all them.
Cincinnati.
It's for the money. They're going for more games for the money.
Yeah, it's for the money.
If they're getting more games for the money, are the people that's playing in the games getting any of the money? If that's not the case,
I'm not. The attendance check could go up.
Okay, we just look at it different.
They cost of attendance check. I mean, I look at it like
we look at it different.
If it's 8 teams and you got a chance to go to the playoffs, you're not gonna have opt-outs, man. You're not gonna have opt-outs.
Are you gonna pay them then?
Well, I mean, why am I gonna pay you now in the playoffs?
P's just saying more games, more chance of injury, that whole deal. I get it. I get both sides, but I think the big deal, guys, is there a team? I mean, we're sitting here. We are the University of Oklahoma, and we are sitting here on the outside looking in. I mean, we have, and unfortunately, 96, 97% of the country would love to be where we are.
Right.
But that top 3 ain't going nowhere. And it's only getting scarier and scarier. And I think, again, my deal, there ain't nobody with how we're able to scout kids and be able to tell who's going to be the best. Brother, Jarrail, you know him better than just about anybody. Alabama's the ticket right now. I mean, with the classes that they've got, guys, a guy said he was going to go be 3rd string at Alabama, running back, instead of coming and having a chance to start here.
Yeah, I think he looking at the fact that They got Najee Harris, who's gonna be a first round pick. You got Derrick Henry balling in the league. You got Josh Jacobs, who just came out of that thing. So Josh Jacobs was a third back. You know, it's one of those deals where he kind of look at, if I go there and wait my time, they producing. We gotta continue to get off. We gotta continue to produce guys other than receivers. You know, other than receivers and quarterbacks. We gotta continue. We gotta get back to that level when we putting guys out of there. And it comes down to you gotta be a great salesman as a recruiter. Like, you gotta be a dog. Like, to beat Alabama and to beat them on the field, you gotta grind and you gotta be dogs on the field. You gotta be perfect. You gotta cover. You can't make no bad mistakes. To beat them in recruit, it's the same way. You gotta find whatever end is. You gotta find out what mama like. You gotta find out what little sister play with. You gotta find out if grandma got real drink in that cup. So when you come in, when you sit in the house, grandma, what you got back there? You got that Hennessy in that cup so she can laugh, get them on your side. That's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta start doing. You gotta cover all your bases to beat them. And like when I was in the Ivy League, we used to recruit against Harvard. And they always just say, well, you can't beat Harvard. So what I started doing is find out who his girlfriend was, find out what his little sister do, what his little brother do. So when I go to the house, we playing PlayStation with little brother. He might be talking to Harvard. I'm playing PlayStation with little brother. He ain't doing it. I know what little brother like to do. I know what little sister like to do. So now when they come to make a decision, well, I like Coach Jackson. Mama like Coach Jackson. Little sister like Coach Jackson. Grandma love Coach Jackson. Coach Jackson sit there and drank with her. So he know what's going on. You got to kind of find your niche, and because you never know. Like, at the end of the day, that helps, knowing that, hey, I got 6. If little sister like him, okay, well, I think about Alabama, but little sister like Dennis Simmons at Oklahoma. Grandma like Oklahoma. They feel comfortable at Oklahoma. They feel like that's the best place to be. Then that kid will jump and be at Oklahoma because his family is pulling you that way. But when you just go in there, you recruit the kid and not really know what's going on, then you put yourself in that bad situation because you ain't covering all your bases. You ain't trying to figure out. You got to find out the end. Once you find out the end, you got to work it. And I think that's what they got to do. They got to be perfect in executing and recruiting when they recruit guys that are getting recruited by Alabama, heavily recruited by Alabama, Clemson, those guys. You got to find a way. It's just doing a little bit more research. Go find his girlfriend at school, see what she likes, see what she do. That's just doing the extra research. But I think that's what we got to get to until we start knocking them off on the football field. I think for us to turn around, we got to get to that championship game and we got to play well. Whether we win or lose, we got to play well. Like, we can't go out there and get the brakes beat off of us. We got to go out there and we got to come down to a field goal or a last play at the end of the game. Because I just kept Alabama didn't take off till Tua made that throw versus Georgia. When Tua made that throw versus Georgia to beat Georgia in the championship game to win it all, they took off. So we got to get to that point to where we got to get there, and we got to. Like I said, we got to find the kids to get there. Like this year, if I'm them, that coaching staff, I got a D line that's pretty good. I got full that's really, really good. Let me recruit them as hard as I can and come back to be my staple. I got a linebacker core that's decent. Let me recruit them. Let me get them better. But I got to recruit the Ronnie Perkins to come back and play one more year. I got to recruit Big Boy in the middle to come back and play one more year for me. I got to recruit Stevenson. Hey, you can improve your status. I got to take advantage. Corona was bad, but it's also good. I got to take advantage of this Corona to bring my team because they all can come back. I mean, Trey Brown, he knew what was up. Trey Brown opted out before Florida receivers even opted out. He knew what was up. He knew if them 4 played, he was gonna get exposed. So why not go ahead and opt out? So when you opt out 20 minutes when they put your bowl, who you playing? I'm out, dog. I'm out. Yeah. I'd have waited to see who was gonna opt out. Okay, Pitt's gone. Them 4 go. I'm about to ball. I'm staying in. I'm balling. But at the end of the day, like, I think they got their best recruiting job this year. The best thing they can do is recruit those guys into staying and taking advantage of the extra year that COVID got. Yeah, it's gonna hurt you in high school recruiting, but it's gonna end up helping you again in 2020. I mean, in the next year, because if you keep that core together, you got a chance to go make a run and get to the finals and play well. You got a quarterback that's decent. Just keep adding. But I think they got to continue to add toughness to them, though. They got to continue to be tough and more physical all the way around. All the way around, offensive line wise, and that comes and goes.
Man, I was just gonna say that brings me to a story, and I've told it a little bit before, but man, people, how did we recruit Adrian Peterson? Everybody wants to know that, and I think when you look at a 5-star running back, there's certain things that everything you said, Jarrail, was so on point. We had to find out who was even. Lynn Magruder had an end with him. Daryl Wyatt had an end with him. Such and such is related to him. Where is such and such like to eat? But I think it boiled down to when we got him on campus, when we sat him in the film room, and you saw Davin pull and Jamal block down and JD kick out, and you saw that hole open, and you saw an opportunity to run. When you saw, I think when he saw the opportunity and guys that he saw that same process that you were talking about that Kamar sees at Bama. Okay, yeah, I'm the third string, or yeah, I may have to sit a little bit early, but look at these holes. Look at what I'm behind. There's 2 first-round picks on the line. At least that's what we had. There's a first-round, second-round, third-round pick receiver. There's Heisman quarterback. You can't give these kids a reason to say no. And I'm scared, and I've said these things before, but I just feel like we don't have. There's rumors. Here's one, PJ. Your boy, the lineman from the one that just picked Clemson the other day. He's from VA. Rumor is they just wanted a tropical place. Now I get it. Him and his family, I totally get it. Totally get it. That's something that we necessarily can't change. But again,
I can't know about that.
But again, it boils down to these three, the 3 places that people aren't saying no to. Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson. They're saying yes for NFL. I don't give a damn about all the other reasons. They're saying yes because of NFL. So how do we get that?
They were saying yes for the NFL. That's exactly right. Both of you were right. A smaller case, y'all made the big one. A smaller case was, at that point, we were the conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska won 3 national championships. We won 1, played for another. The Big 12 was the number 1 conference in the country at that point. So we were doing what we were supposed to do on offense. We had it on defense. We had people coming in. I mean, we had a great run. We had a great run. And I think that I say it all the time. It probably gets old, but winning changes the narrative. When we were winning, they was coming in droves. A&M, Nebraska, it was sweet. Colorado.
You don't even have to recruit. They come to you. They come to you.
We had it, right? But then, like anything else, it goes away. So once it goes away, and now it's in the deep south with the SEC, you don't have to beat the whole conference because we're not in the conference. But what we need to do is recruit, stack, and develop players that can play that style of physicality.
So here's my question. So we're in a coaches meeting tomorrow. We're the coaches at OU, right? We've won the Big 12 6 times in a row, right? We won the Big 12, but we're probably 3rd best conference. We'd say. I mean, at least 3rd, maybe 4th.
Yeah, it's 3rd. It's 3rd.
Okay.
I would say it's 3rd. Yeah, I say.
Okay.
Yeah. Well.
what 3rd or 4th? We'll just say that.
Probably
3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
We're biased. 3rd or 4th.
Okay.
What is our plan? Obviously, our plan is to win the league, but is our plans to shift? What's our plan when we get there? What's our plan when we face a D-line that has guys that are over 300 like that? When we face receivers that are first-round picks? When we face a quarterback who's just as explosive as ours? That's the other thing, man, is we don't see a lot of that here. We see good balanced teams. Don't get me wrong. Again, we see good teams on 3 phases, which is why they win bowl games. Point blank.
Right.
But
so if we in the coaching meeting tomorrow, we're gonna go in. I'm gonna tell Till, hey, call all those D linemen in here. Talk to them. Try to get them to stay. And then we just gonna go out and measure ourselves against the best. Hey, who you can't some places to go, I'm gonna offer you because you got an offer by Alabama. Or I'm gonna offer you because you got an offer by Clemson. I'm gonna go find me some good football players that it means a lot to them, that fits our style, that play physical football, that don't mind coming here and trying to change the culture. Because that's how it was changed before when Bob got here. He got a bunch of dudes who has chips on their shoulders, and dudes came here and played hard. Brandon Everidge, Antoine Savage, and those type of guys. Those guys came in and played with chips on their shoulders. I don't want the pretty boy. I don't want the Starbucks latte guys, 5-star guys. I don't want them. I don't want them. If I come to your school and you got no Vans, I'm walking out. I don't want them dudes. I want them dudes that when I come there, you may got some Jordans on, talk crazy to you a little bit. We're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna see what you all about. Those are kids that you want. You don't get caught in the star ratings. Okay, my class may not be a top 5 class, but I got some solid football players in this thing. If them dudes come in and we develop them right, we do what we're supposed to do, we're able to play and compete. And like I said, again, you can't be scared. You got to go get them dudes, man. Yeah, they gonna cause you some troubles a little bit. Go get them dudes. Go get them. Let's go sit in their house. Why can't I go sit in the house of somebody in Alabama who's one of the best D linemen in the country? I'm gonna go sit there. I'm gonna sell my program. I got the Selman brothers. I got all of them. I got Tommy Harris. I got the dudes that came through my program. You can be the next to start to go. But you gotta, again, here's the deal though. As coaches, you gotta understand the culture and you gotta understand the tradition of where you at. So when you go to that house, you selling the tradition of the program and not selling that little man on the side of your shirt. If the coaches don't understand the tradition, then it's hard to sell them. It's hard to go to Alabama and sell a D tackle to come play for me at Oklahoma if I don't know the tradition of Oklahoma football through and through.
The top D tackle was in Louisiana this year and signed with LSU on a down year. So what's that tell you, AJ? Why LSU? We can't win that guy on a down year?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. Number one, LSU is known for defensive players. That to me, that's what they're known for. They're way more known for defensive players than offensive players. Yeah, you got a great receiver now, whatever, but that's a defensive stronghold, and it's in your hometown, or maybe not your hometown, but at least your home state. So that's 2 reasons to stay for LSU. I can understand that decision. I'm close to the family. I'm playing.
But let me tell you something, though.
My position is a lot of us go to the pros. I get that. But this is the topic I wanted to get on is Oklahoma has to build relationships so much to the point where they're calling us, telling us about a guy. Or what Jarrail said, I think the last 2 or 3 times we talked about it. Yeah, you're recruiting the first guy, and maybe you didn't get him. But the way you recruited him, his coaches and the assistant coaches and the younger players are going to see whatever they call you. Coach Jay was cool. He was cool. I mean, yeah, he got here a little late, but I like him. You know what I'm saying? And your coach is saying that. And then now the coaches are telling you, hey, I got a guy here. Like you said before, you looking for that junior and that senior, but you're not getting him. But the guy likes you and trusts you. Now he's going to tell you about that sophomore and that freshman, like you were saying before. So it's about relationship building. And I don't even know if you can do this. So I'm not saying to do this. There are some smart former players that live in areas where there's athletes. You got to have communications with those guys. And not that they're going to do anything wrong, but, hey, coach, I saw this guy. Hey, can you put a film for me? All right, I'll put a film for you. And send it up to you. Ain't got to come. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can still help the program legally. And I don't know if that's legal or not. You would know that better than I do. But I think you can help the program by just saying, hey, I think this guy's good. Coach, all I'm going to do, because I know you got a lot to do, I'm going to put a little tape together and send it to you. What you think? If it don't work, it don't work. I just want us to win. Hey, I don't know if you can do that, but I would like for somebody to do that if it was legal.
Like, you could do that. Like, we was at Mississippi State. Eric Mose would call me like, Jay, we got a receiver out here in Carolina that can play. He can go. I'm gonna go. And Mose get him and work out with him, send us a videotape. Because that's something we would never know. We didn't know about him because he was outside our realm, but he was so in tune into the program that them dudes was like everybody that played at Mississippi State that lettered, graduated, whether you played in arena football or whether you played wherever. August 13th, we sent you a package. We knew where you was. We sent you a package. You got shirts, you got hats, you got boom, you got everything. So you was geared up. So in Dan's mind, that was like, if I'm giving my former players some stuff, I'm giving them ammunition. So now they're gonna wear that around town wherever they at. they're gonna do more. They're gonna do more and above for us. So like every year we would send it out, and man, them dudes would call, hey, we just got a kid that just went for like 360 over here out here in California. I know his daddy. I know boom, 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 and they would get him. And them kids would come. We would like, hey, we're gonna recruit California. Yep, but I'm gonna make sure that kid get to your campus. And them kids got to our Fred Ross, prime example. We didn't really recruit Fort Worth like that. So they had a former player that played for the Cowboys that knew him. She had his stuff on, told Fred Ross about him. Fred Ross, first team All SEC for us at Mississippi State. So it's just about using your resources. And like you said, you said when they're in LSU, when they're in Louisiana, they want to go where? To LSU. Because those dudes do a good job to take care of their home. What we got to get back to is when Oklahoma, when the best kids out of Oklahoma come, they don't want to go nowhere else. They want to go to Oklahoma. Like they don't want to go to Ohio State. They don't want to go to Michigan. They don't want to go nowhere else. They want to go to Oklahoma because you done built a relationship with that kid so much from the time he's in the 9th grade to the time he's now a senior that they don't that's all they know. LSU, that's all they know. When they go to camps, where they go? LSU.
True.
When they go to LSU, they go to LSU camp. Dudes build a relationship with them when they're in the 8th grade, 9th grade. Don't wait till you become a 5-star kid in the 10th, 11th grade. Now everybody on them. No. Matter of fact, I just had a kid leave here who only reason he didn't commit to us is because he got a guy that he been knowing for since he was little. That's a coach at Hutch that he going to visit because he got that relationship with him. He didn't build a relationship with him. So what Oklahoma got to get back to doing is getting those kids out of state who they good football. Build a relationship with those kids, those high school coaches in the state, to what knowing about a kid when he in the 10th grade. Hey, coach, he got a chance to be a dog. Now you want him in the 10th grade, in the 11th grade. You ain't on him in the 11th grade when everybody else on him. Same thing in Texas. I'm gonna go to DeSoto. Hey, I know you got a freshman on the JV class on his freshman school. You start talking to him then. Hey, come start messing with him then. So now when they become juniors and seniors, you know them. They know you. It's just like they damn near you damn near their uncle. You know what I'm saying? You damn near their uncle. So when they see Uncle PJ come through, you done been by him so many times. You had them on campus. They know you because they done seen you as much as they can. They communicate with you as much as they can. So now you ain't getting the Booby Rileys of the world. They come here in the 5'5" guys out there. Now you getting the 6'2" dudes that can run. You know what I'm saying? You getting the 6'2".
Hey man, he had a good bowl game.
He had a good bowl game, man. He changed around, but they also did play a couple more dudes that was bigger.
Yeah, you right about that.
He had a small role. The only time I seen him was when they got pick and he jumped up and down with old boy in the end zone on the pick 6. He had a small role, so they kind of moved guys around and stuff like that. But I think they got to get back to. They got to start getting on kids in the 9th or 10th grade. That comes from just being around those kids as much as possible. Okay, it's okay to recruit California, but understand where Oklahoma made their money at in Texas. Taking care of Oklahoma kids, then getting one or two kids from Louisiana that just fell off. You got to get back to building that solid relationship.
Jarrail, you could talk about this better than anybody. And I'm somebody, with me, when I used to have my gym and train kids, I would go around to all these camps. The size isn't there anymore, PJ. The O-line, D-lines, the camps you go to, there's not big name guys around Oklahoma schools. They come to camps like that. There's just not. When you go to a camp, you'll see some good players. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody. You will see a lot of kids that are probably D2 level kids, maybe JUCO. There's very rarely an offensive lineman kid that's Power 5 in Oklahoma. We rarely have those guys. I think we have 1 or 2 D tackles that's going Power 5 this year.
Right. On this Oklahoma thing, once you come here, you are in Oklahoma soon. I want the best players. Now, you want to have relationships in the state that you currently work and play in, for sure. But if there's a good guy at Oklahoma, if there's a good guy at a school in Oklahoma, a high school in Oklahoma, and there's a great guy somewhere else, get the great guy. If there's a really good guy here and it's maybe a little bit better, maybe you take the guy. I want the best player.
Let me tell you something.
I want the best players.
I'm going to tell you something about the camps because I was in charge of camps at UCO. I'm going to tell you how Michigan and Ohio State got in. I think probably about 3 years ago, we did the first super camp, and JD can remember. We did the first super camp in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up the phone and called Michigan, called Ohio State, called Kevin Wilson, Ohio State, called those guys on the East Coast. You know, those guys said, Coach, we ain't never had nobody from Oklahoma, but you know what? We gonna send somebody. And you know what? They sent somebody to our camp. It was on me to make sure guys showed up. I had the kid from Proctor, and I had the kid from Booker T. Bush. I made Coach Caleb. I made their coaches bring them to the camp, but they was already getting recruited by them. You know, and so once they came to camp, but them dudes just came to Oklahoma just because to build a relationship on that camp. That's what we got to be willing to do. We got to be willing to pick up the phone and call, hey, y'all got a camp down there in Alabama. Let me send somebody out there. Even if it ain't like I told him, we might not even have nobody. But what that did was that put pressure on me to make sure I get a guy on campus for him. So I got guys on campus for him. And the thing is, they had a list of guys they wanted on campus to see if I could get them there. And I was able to get two. And them two, one is at Michigan, one's at Ohio State. That's how you build a relationship in those states, in those camps. So now Ohio State is a regular here now. Michigan is a regular here now. Same thing in Texas. You know, that's what they did. So we got to be willing to do the same thing and pick up the phone.
Yes.
Hey, I know y'all got a camp going on out here in Georgia. Can I send somebody out there? Coach, we ain't got nobody. That's all right. I just want to send somebody out there for representation. So I send somebody out there for representation. So now it just circulates. You know, so that's kind of how, if you want to get in SEC states, that's how you want to do it. That's how they got in our state. They picked them, you know, and like I said, for us at UCO, it was a big deal for us because we had them dudes coming on campus. But for them, it was a big deal for them too because that was the way of getting their foot in the door of opening up, you know, and the two players they got out of Oklahoma, they playing. They playing well. They're doing a good job. So we got to be able to take that next step and just reach out and try to figure out the best way to get in them states. And you know, it got to be one of those deals where you can't look at it like you wasting your time. Like, I'm going to go to Georgia just to go out there and I'm building a relationship while I'm here. Well, while I'm here, you're going to get a coach. Well, you know, down the street, such and such is a 6'4", 6'5" D tackle. Ain't nobody really on him right now. Boom, there it is. That's how I just rolled from there.
That's real. That's real. PJ, do you have any more questions on your deal? I don't know. Did we answer everything?
What do you think about Grinch as far as how long he may stay?
I mean, I think until he, I know him. You know, I think until he really, really like get us locked down defense, I think he'll be here for another year or two. You know, he got a. They made improvement this year. Like they made great improvement. He got to continue to improve. Now if he come out and he got a lockdown BV type defense next year, then he out of there. He out of here. You know, right now, you know, like I said, I don't think he is a coaching job out there to pay him what he's making right now. You know, what people look at. Now, if he get out there and get a lockdown type defense where he locking dudes down, then he'll have a deal where he'll have some offers next year. You know, he'll have some looks.
Man, I thought he's done great. I mean, it just the biggest thing, PJ, is them bigs, and it's something that every defensive coordinator, aside from Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama, that everybody's fighting for, and maybe some years LSU.
That's why they've been winning.
I've said it before. The big kids are big money, big business.
Think he did do though. He did change the style of defense. Like he let them four dudes in front just work. You know, it wasn't as much moving and slanting and stuff as he was in the past. He let them dudes do their work. You know, Ted was a good coach. He went to work. I think the secondary wise, I think they know what their weak link is. And I think he know what their weak link is. And I think he found some bigger guys. In this bowl game that can match up and run like them dudes. He had that secondary he had out there. That was an SEC looking secondary. They was young. Them dudes are big, long, and can run. You know, so I think he found his niche, and it's just a matter of just those guys developing over the deal, and then coming with they got to develop a killer mentality, which is going to be developed in the weight room. You know, that's what they got. That's where they got to really develop that stuff, and then they got to continue to work, continue to build stuff.
Absolutely. Nah, and there's not much to improve on. This is like I said. I think the biggest thing is we just got to have size whenever we go up against those guys. We got to be able to impose our will. We got to be able to create mismatches. Ohio State blocks their tight ends block. They was out there pancaking cats. They was pulling and pancaking cats, and like you said, Jarrail, that tight end position. Watch for it whenever they play. Bama's gonna run jet sweeps to that cat soon.
Mm-hmm.
They was acting like they was gonna run one to him last week or the other day, and different type of cats. Notre Dame had a huge tight end. Ohio State, them cats up north, they're getting certain, especially downfield, man. They're able to work and present mismatches,
and they putting that pressure on them quarterbacks. You got to make that quarterback.
They are
get nervous. Even if you don't hit him, he's nervous that you're going to because you just hit him. Maybe two plays before that, you get a team feels what the quarterback feels.
I will say, your boy Justin Fields. It don't seem like it matters what happens because
he balled.
He gonna dice
ball.
He gonna dice
ball. And they took it to Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
They took it to Clemson. They did. They weren't scared. They were physical. He took a huge shot, stayed in there, showed his toughness, had some deep balls. That was, those two games have probably been the best two games of the Final Fours because obviously Ohio State lost it last year. That was a couple of bad calls. And then this year they beat Clemson. When they played each other, along with when Clemson's played Alabama, those have been physical, tough, talented games.
It's gonna be
I think this national championship is gonna be the same.
It's gonna be physical. Like it's gonna be. I think the thing we missing, if you watch everybody at every position play physical in these top four, them receivers out there for Clemson was playing physical. Ohio State receivers playing physical. Alabama receivers playing physical. Then the running backs, he ain't shying away from no contact. He trying to get it. O-line was being like it's just gonna be. We got to get back to being just like when we step on the field, we know we Debo. Like it is what it is. Like it is what we finna get at. That's the mentality you got to get back. Because I hate to keep going back to Bob was there, but when you stepped on the field with Bob, you was Debo. Like if you lost, it felt like if you lost it felt like the world was over once you lost. You even the fans like didn't expect you to lose. I think some of it. You go in, you be like, well, I know we're going to be able to score. Can we stop them? Can we stop them? I think they got to get back to that mentality where when they step on the field, ain't nobody better than us, man. Like, we finna go out here and we get at it. We finna show you. We finna be physical. Okay, if I get a personal foul, I'll get a personal foul because I'm dropping your ass in your head. Mm-hmm. I ain't getting a foul for talking noise. I'm getting a personal foul because I laid your ass out.
Real.
That's the mentality you got to get back to. Like, Ronnie Perkins got it. He got that mentality, but they got to go all the way through the secondary and everybody else. So when they hit you, that dude hit Justin Fields like he hit him. And was a target? I don't know. I don't think so. But he hit him. Like that was real licks. Like them was some real licks been laying out there. And that's what OU got to get back to.
Got to.
And the last thing I'll say, and I promise this last thing I'm gonna say, Jay, you got to make good decisions off the football field too.
Yeah. No doubt. Real quick, last one. How many draft picks you think we'll have this year? And where you think they'll get drafted? Ely left early, so I'm guessing he'll get drafted. You got Trey Brown. You got who else?
Norwood
left early. I think we'll have about 5 or 6.
I think you got about. I Creed to get drafted for sure.
For sure.
He'll probably 3rd round, 4th round pick. Ely, he'll probably get drafted. Trey Norwood, he ain't doing enough for me. I ain't seen enough for him. I ain't seen enough for him.
Anybody first round?
Nah. Creed may be the closest one. That he may be because he played because it's a premium on centers. He may be first round, maybe 2nd round. Trey Brown, I don't see it. Yeah, run fast. He had a couple good games. He'll be hopefully getting the Senior Bowl or one of those games and get a chance to showcase his skills against other guys. But right now, maybe return specialist 6th, 7th round.
Wow. I'm gonna give him 4th or 5th. I think he's gonna go a little higher than that.
Who? Trey?
Yeah, I think he go a little higher. Just because of the 40. I think just because it's so speed oriented and somebody's gonna see him as a 4 phase special teams guy. backup corner.
He might.
And because
go
ahead.
No, what I just don't. I mean, I don't know why they would. I don't know why he would leave. I would have came back.
Got all them picks late in the year. I think a lot of guys are like, man, if I've graduated and why waste another year? Go and chase the dream.
True.
So, man, y'all got any final thoughts before we head into the off season? Besides, Nah,
like I said, I like the way the team going. I think they ended on a high note. Defense playing well. I mean, that's the thing you asked for. They defense played well, offense played well. So that last game, you got to be excited about going into it. I think what they can't do is buy into the hype because they're gonna rank top 3, top 4 in the country coming out. So like I said, I like where they are. We see him and get on them about recruiting. I think they can improve in some areas. They go get some big guys that can help. Go get a big nickel that can help them out. Keep a dude that is let that dude know he a specific player. And just go like I said, just keep this. Their best recruiting job is going to be keeping these guys in school, keeping Ronnie Perkins and keeping those guys in school to keep those guys from going back. But I like what they're doing. I like the direction they're going into. It's always good to end on a winning note. Secondary played well. They did a good job. They did what they're supposed to do. The last couple of games, they did what they're supposed to do. Speed deep. The last 3 games, I believe, played probably as best they played since they've been in Oklahoma. So that's good to go into all season with and just continue to springboard and continue to get better.
No doubt.
I agree. Yeah.
Last Alabama, Ohio State.
Ooh.
You can't go against it. I mean,
I got Bama.
Yeah, Ty been there, man. Hey.
This dude, if he wins this, is gonna have 7 national championships by himself. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Justin Fields, that leg still hurt right now. Now them dudes over the Bama coming now.
Oh, they know where the pain is and they're coming for it.
They coming, so
they know where they going.
I think it's just too much over there on that one side. You got them that Smith and Najee Harris. I think it's just too much.
Yeah, man. They're physical. They can throw the ball. They got the receivers now. I mean, can Ohio State win? Yes, they can. Will they? No, I think Bama got it.
Ohio State got to throw it over their head. If they can throw it over their head, they got a chance.
But Satan and Joe can run. They ready for that. They can run. I mean, so they're not ready for them posts and fades and. I mean, shit. I don't think Job's given up a completion over 20 yards. He may have done it.
They don't even throw the Surtain side. They threw it to him one time in the end zone. He batted. They don't even like Stingley. Like I played with Derek Stingley, daddy in arena football. I'd be like Sting. They be going at your son like he's soft and he be making plays, but they don't throw it Surtain. Like they throw it one time, and that's it. So. But no, I think Alabama will win. I think it'll be a good game. It'll be a good physical game, but I think at the end of the day they'll win.
Who you got, Jay?
Man, if Ohio State plays, here's the deal. I think Alabama's healthier. I think Ohio State was playing better offensively.
Yeah.
I don't know if Alabama's. I think Ohio State's blocking is spectacular. I don't know if Alabama gets off. We're going to see how well they get off blocks. They've got to get off blocks better than they did against Notre Dame. They played Notre Dame pretty well. And then I don't think that they're as good as linebacker as we're used to seeing them as seen. I think Dylan Moses battled a lot of injuries. The Christian Harris kid. I think it's a toss-up, man. I really do. I think Justin Fields is just that good, man. The only other thing I can think of is that I think Bama's guys will be able to tackle him in the open field. I think they're used to seeing somebody like him, and so I think that just gives them the slight edge. Along with they've been there, they block better, but it's hard for me to pick against Ohio State. I'll say that because I think they're going to be ready.
I'm gonna ask y'all this one question to be done with it. You ain't got to say no names. How many players on our team right now start at either Ohio State or Alabama?
The fullback.
I mean, I'm asking. So how many can start? Not even gonna say start. How many can get at like real playing time right now?
I mean,
that's the level. That's the question they got to ask themselves when they sit in that room.
I mean,
how many you gonna start? Huh?
How many you think?
0. I think you would have. I think you would
I
have.
think you may got one. You got 1 or 2. I think Mills will probably play. I think a receiver may be able to go. Not get in the mix. He may get in the mix.
What about Perkins?
He'd be a linebacker probably out there outside backer. He'd be that stand up rover guy.
Yeah. So maybe him. Maybe him.
Yeah, maybe him.
Maybe him. Yeah.
A lot of teams are just built differently down there, man. Man, it's gonna be a great pod. Fans are gonna love this, man. Hey, shout out to you guys. Happy New Year. Hope you guys have a
Happy New Year, man. I love you both.
Hey, hold on. We can't let him off. We can't let him off like that. Hey, he's supposed to be the Dion of D2. You know, Dion got his own podcast. He doing all that. Hey, that's what he need to be over at UCO. He need to be the part. Hey, now here's the thing though. The one thing we forgot to let up. Deion Sanders is a problem for college football. Period. Right now, he's a problem for Mississippi. He's a problem for football. He has signed 8 Division I transfers, and he ain't even been in a home yet. Imagine what he can do.
Very good point. Shout out to Prime.
When he able to get in his home, I'm gonna give a shout out to Prime. He is about to change college football because the state of Mississippi right now, they in trouble.
So what does that mean?
What if he gets?
So what I think it means is be careful who's in your circumference.
Exactly. Hey, he's about to change.
If they see you looking like you can change, there's people taking D1 offers and not going and going down there with him. Be careful.
Hey.
Be careful about doing the right thing the right way and how some people respond to it.
Hey, he got
careful about your circumference.
I'm gonna tell you right now, he got the coldest recruiting video out for a DB.
Yeah,
and it's just him talking, man. He's sitting there. Hey, so he sit there and said, "You saw it?"
Yeah.
Hey, he sit there and said, "Hey, Thurman, how many years you got?" I got 25 in the league. Mathis, how many you got? I got 10. I got 14. That's 49. I know some GMs. Matter of fact, I got some GMs on my cell phone. He got some GMs on his cell phone. I know some scouts. If you a DB, what you waiting on? Like what? Like I'm telling you right now, when he can go in houses, this band is lifted, he can go in houses, college football in trouble.
What about if he gets a bigger job like Florida State?
But see, I don't even think he want a bigger job though.
Really?
I don't even think he want that. I think he want to be where he is because Jackson State, he can build Jackson State up to a powerhouse to where his goal is he told them we'll play a ball game. Just give us a ball game. We'll play the ball game.
That's where I wanted to go, Jay.
We're gonna be good enough to play in a ball game and beat somebody.
Will
he gonna change the game?
He's gonna change it, and that's why I'm saying for him to change it the way he wants to, people have to be aware of who and what is around him. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now. Listen. He gonna change the game.
Secondly, though, Jay, this can he get it in a situation where they're losing some of the D1 players? And this has to be a couple of years, and I'm not saying he's gonna change the world, but can he get it in a situation and then other historically black colleges get some of those D1 athletes? Can he put it in a situation where where not necessarily have to, but they think about scheduling a game against some of these HBCU schools, some of these D1s, scheduling games against these HBCUs? Because if he can get that going, then that, like you said, it's changing a lot.
I think he will get it going, but the first time they come close to beating one, they're gonna shut it down. Here's the thing he's gonna also do. You know, Ed Reed got that itch to coach too now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ed Reed got it. So if he has success at Jackson State, I can see Ed Reed going to Bethune-Cookman and keeping everybody in Florida. Now you got issues. Now you got problems. Now, like Prime, hey, shout out to him. Prime changed it. He changed college football. So
that's real. Man, that's a great topic. Wait, we got to do this again. We'll just set it up coming up soon, man.
All right.
Y'all have a great one. FullbackU.
Love y'all. Yes, Happy New Year, everybody. We made it. God bless. Thank you.
Bet.